Emma.
Yes, Madelyn.
What do you say when something is flying for a privatized head?
I don't know. What do you say?
Detective. Duck! Hello and welcome to Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I was thinking of it kind of like on Zaboomafoo, host Madelyn.
What?
You know on Zaboomafoo, they sometimes say duck, and it's really a duck flying for them.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Thank you for pretending to know that at least.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I'm your rocket-powered car host, Emma.
And thanks for tuning into this week's show. This week, we're talking about Rocket League, and we're talking about Duck Detective. Oh, I should have done it the other way. I don't know why I did Detective Duck.
You should have incorporated the rocket-powered car flying at the detective's head. That's what you should have done.
Look, everyone's a critic. How about you try to come up with one joke every 2 weeks?
You're right. I couldn't do it.
That's correct.
It's beyond me.
All right, ready to go vroom vroom?
I'm so ready. We got stuck behind a line painting truck today on the way back from somewhere that was inexplicably driving about 2 miles per hour.
Well, you can't
for
paint
like
a line
half an
faster
hour.
than that.
So they wasn't painting.
They should make a mode like that in Rocket League.
Yeah. Where you can paint lines. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Correct.
All right, tell us about Rocket League.
Rocket League is a 2015, quote, vehicular soccer game, which is a very good genre descriptor from
Very
Wikipedia.
good. Not enough vehicular soccer games out there.
2, in fact.
What's the other one?
Well, sort of. Supersonic acrobatic rocket-powered battle
right.
cars.
Yes, the
Right?
prequel.
Yeah.
The spiritual prequel to
The
Rocket League.
original.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a soccer car game from Psyonix, basically for all platforms at one time or another. I think they've shut down some of them now. They're like not enough pals on the Mac. But you can play Rocket League all over the place. It came out in 2015. Yes, it is the sequel. It's best known as the sequel to 2008's Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket-Powered Battle Cars. Which I have to say, I hate to say it, is a better name. And I know the design lead has described it as the worst title of all time, but he is wrong.
I did see a lot of interviews that were like, just thinking like, why'd we call it that?
Because it's awesome.
It's not very marketable.
It is a way better title than Rocket League.
I feel like history has maybe proven you wrong on that.
Rocket League's a better game.
Sure.
I won't take that away from them. Like, good for them for upping the FPS or whatever. But
yeah, that's what it is.
Which one do you actually want to say? It's supersonic, acrobatic, rocket-powered battle cars.
You're right.
Anyway. Yeah, in Rocket League, you're a car, baby, and you're playing soccer with big ball.
Yeah, is there any lore to Rocket League at all?
I did not encounter, I would assume that I would have encountered lore for Rocket League. You're right that it is surprising that we don't have like Transformers style or Cars style backstories for Rocket League, but so far as I can tell, no.
Well, Epic was busy making bad decisions, so they couldn't make good decisions like doing Cars type lore. Shorts for Rocket League.
Supersonic acrobatic lore.
Yeah. I'm surprised they really didn't even seem to be like a framing device, even. It's just like, you've got cars, go crazy.
And genuinely, I think that seems to have been what made the game a success. They were like, there's one thing here and we're going to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, look, up to 8 players on 2 teams. There's a single player offline mode too. Playing car soccer with superpowered cars. The soccer games are 5 minutes long and there are no ties, which is to say it is not anything like soccer.
There's no ties in soccer.
Sure. Yeah, I know.
You just keep going until you stop being tied.
That's right. But the 5-minute matches.
Yes, that's right.
Is not Not soccer-like. Also, people don't generally rocket into the air in soccer.
Maybe they should. I don't know.
Perhaps that's
also,
what it takes.
What?
Perhaps that's what it would take for it to really take off here, literally.
Yeah, right. Yeah, soccer really doesn't have enough explosive violence for Americans, I guess.
I don't know. Plenty of cleats to the knee.
Anyway, in Rocket League, it's also like a enclosed space. So it's like indoor soccer, but outdoors, in that there's like a barrier around the stadium that you can drive on or bounce the ball off of or do various other tricks and cool things.
I do hate to say it, but indoor soccer sucks.
I just mean you don't have like throw-ins.
No, you're right. And how would a car do that?
I don't know.
By necessity, there are no throw-ins. Cars don't have arms.
They just kind of like zoom into it and it kind of just goes,
That's right. Hey, Emma, guess what?
Throw-in. What?
Guess what Rocket League is featured on?
The greatest games of all time list.
Whoop.
Yeah, that's an easy.
Yeah.
What would be the equivalent of like an easy layup in soccer? An easy tap in.
Yeah, just like a little, which that feels so clear to me.
I don't know if are there really like, are there terms for like, I played soccer, so I should probably know this.
For a long time.
But like, are there terms for like, different types of goals? Like there are different types of baskets in basketball?
Sure, I can give you some. Cool. Amazing. Crazy. That was offsides.
I guess it's like a
Header.
penalty kick.
Yeah.
An easy penalty kick.
Yeah. Ask the FIFA commentators. They've probably got some good ones.
All right, I'll ask them.
A scorcher.
Yeah, there you go. There are a lot of scorchers in Rocket League. By virtue of the cars being rocket powered.
Yes. In 2015, by the way, Rocket League shares the honor of being on the greatest games of all time list from Wikipedia, the all-time hallmark of a game's quality. And I mean that genuinely. With Bloodborne, Undertale, and The Witcher 3.
High company.
Yeah. Can't really argue with it.
They've got their right. Perhaps.
Rocket League, a huge success, right? Tens of millions of players, all the classic hallmarks of an online game, right? Ranked situation, battle passes, etc. It's been games of service since the beginning, baby, but only a free-to-play, for everyone anyway, we'll talk about that, situation since Epic bought them in 2020.
Yes, it was an unexpected success, it sounded like a bit. They said they prepared, it was with the design director interview that you mentioned, which was on Vice, old Vice from 2016.
Yeah, from Vice when it was Vice. To be fair, that quote of the worst title of all time, he has said to a lot of people.
Yeah. They said that they had in beta, they peaked at about 10,000 players online. So they did beta before the launch. And they said, okay, we've got 10,000 players, plan for like 5 times that on release. If we got 50,000 people at the same time, that'd be awesome, right? And in the first few weeks, they instead got 180,000 players online at the same time. So like 35 times the number they had expected. And apparently, like, the first 3 weeks of full release was like an unmitigated like disaster. They were working around the clock to try to just put out every single fire you could think of, because they just did not have the servers that they needed to actually get people in. So the player experience was not actually great for the first little bit. But apparently at the time, the player base was pretty forgiving of this, and clearly they stuck around past the first 3 weeks of disaster.
Yeah, this is the curse of having a successful online game is that there is no possibility your servers or your netcode are ready.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting to think about this of being like, okay, so you have to, when you launch, you have to have some sort of estimate for like, okay, this is how many players we're expecting, right?
Yeah.
So we're putting this much money into servers, right? And if you get less than that, that's embarrassing. But if you get more than that, like it's simultaneously like a good thing and probably the most stressful thing in the world at the same time.
Exactly. This team seems like they were pretty used to working themselves really hard. Because Rocket League was such a huge success, and also because I feel like it was such a huge success in a period where, like, in peak games journalism
Sure.
time, where there were, like, people doing comprehensive interviews with developers at multiple outlets.
Sure.
Which we have lost now. There are a lot of articles about the making of Rocket League and like what it took for the studio to get to that point, which is something that I always wish there was for the games that we're talking about, and like there isn't always.
Yeah. Yeah, there's even a no clip documentary which I watched parts of.
So I mean basically the situation is this is a studio that was founded by like there's a guy who like worked at Epic a little bit, right? Like got a little bit of used with Unreal. This is Dave. Is it Hagewood? I should know how to say this. Dave H. And then decided he wanted to like make his own stuff. Cool. The classic video game story, tale as old as time. They made some games. They made supersonic, acrobatic, rocket-powered battle cars, which I will not get tired of saying. And Supersonic, etc. did not do well. It had like loyal players, people who played it liked it, but they like could not break through. They could not like build a player base. They did not really make any money. They had 2 million downloads, but they didn't make any money, which is kind of crazy. But they also, even though like soccer with rocket cars feels like the most slam dunk of a pitch you could ever hear. In my opinion. Very concise, very clear what it is. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
They could not get a publisher, so self-published it, did not make any money. That was bad. And so basically they were all pretty convinced that this was still a good idea, and that somehow they just had to figure out how to do it better. Like there were things about that first one that didn't run as smoothly as they would want or whatever. So basically the studio was just like, well, we did a lot of contract work. Like we worked on Mass Effect, right? And we used that to make money while we also worked on Rocket League. And in every interview, the studio head and the design leader are like, this was bad. We did not have a good time doing this. We learned some things, but boy, was it bad. And then it paid off because Rocket League was really, really big.
Yeah, it seems to be a combination of they were a PlayStation Plus game at launch, which...
Well, and that was new. Like, they were one of the first games to do that.
Yes, to launch on it specifically.
Correct.
Yeah. So for 1 month, you could play Rocket League for free because... Like you said, initially it was a premium purchase when it released. And also, YouTube and Twitch had become much more established, like, places for people playing games, right? Versus when the name, I know you like saying it, but the name slides out of my head every single time. The previous incarnation of Rocket
Supersonic,
League.
acrobatic, rocket-powered battle cars.
Yes, battle cars. Compared to when
it's
it
an
released...
iambic pentameter, which is really satisfying. Sorry, go on.
Okay, theater nerd. Talking about your rocket-powered cars. Which Shakespeare play would you put rocket-powered cars in?
I will think about it. Continue.
Okay. But yeah, compared to when battle cars came out, YouTube and Twitch had become like very established players in the video game marketing space. And a marketing space that you don't really have to pay for, right? Yeah. They'll do it for you. And Rocket League caught on among those types of people, and that also gave them a marketing push, even though they said in interviews like, we just didn't have a marketing budget. That's why they went with PlayStation Plus, right? Because they figured that would get it in front of people, and also they would get some sort of set fee from PlayStation, even though they were scared that after that it would make no money.
So first of all, just a sidebar, Baz Luhrmann pretty much did already do this with Romeo and Juliet, right?
Were there rocket-powered cars in Romeo and Juliet?
There might as well have been.
Okay.
Right? Leo could have had one. That would be fine.
Sure.
I would like to have them in Henry V. So when he goes like once more onto the breach, he's really talking about another round of Rocket League.
Pretty good. That's a really good scene idea.
Yeah.
I don't know the rest of that speech, if it ends with that or if it starts with that, but I think you should just say that line and then the rocket-powered car takes off.
This day is called the Feast of Rocket League. Anyway. You were talking about PlayStation Plus. Yes, well, huge gamble. And they talked in a Eurogamer article, or I guess it was actually in the GDC talk that I read about on Eurogamer, that the design director, Corey Davis, was like, we actually weren't sure that we made enough money. Like, the PlayStation Plus deal might not even have covered our server costs.
Yeah.
So we got really lucky that we sold enough games on Steam to cover the fact that we had to upgrade our servers tremendously right away.
Yeah.
Which is the hard thing about being a startup of any kind, but being a game startup is, you can have a success, but if there's no cash in the bank, oh no, what do you do?
Yeah.
So really very lucky, and obviously a huge success for them and a gamble that paid off. But a gamble that paid off because they happened to have a game that was very, like, as described in several things, very sticky, right? Yes. And also, frankly, because this was happening in the beginning, right?
Gifable. I saw used multiple times, which was extremely funny. It felt very 2015 phrase.
Yeah. But there's no, like, just to be clear, if you're listening to this and thinking you've got Rocket League, there's no space for this now. The market is saturated. This cannot happen to you.
I mean, there's barely space for Rocket League, which seems to have not pleased its player base very often since the acquisition by Epic.
Sure.
I was reading, like, it always had, like, premium purchases, right?
Yep.
Although they walked back loot boxes after they're worried about, like, the gambling policies in certain parts of the world to, like, slightly less boxy loot boxes.
Well,
slightly less random loot boxes. But they used to have a system where you could trade items between players. So if you had items or things you didn't want, you could, instead of just have, like, dealing with that, you could be like, I have this. Can someone else give me something for this? And Epic got rid of that in, like, 2023. Which I think it seems like, from the vibe I got for a lot of creators, was like that's it for me.
Supposedly it had something to do with the game being able to, like, talk to other Epic games, but it does feel like you could have figured that out.
Yeah. And it is fully free to play now, which also feels a little bit like capping to the times.
Yeah. It is interesting to think about all of the many ways that Rocket League was ahead of the curve on things that now it's like, well, obviously that, right? Mm-hmm. The PS Plus launch is so basic now, right? I mean, that's literally, like, Xbox Game Pass is just that all the time.
It's warping back around. It might not be the best deal in gaming for long.
Wow.
Because we know that's Apple Arcade, obviously.
Correct. Obviously. You heard it here, not first. You heard it on podcasts several weeks ago first. But also in cross-platform, which is really weird now, because if something isn't cross-platform now, it's like, what is wrong with you? But Rocket League was really one of the first to do it. To the point where they were making all sorts of noises about, we figured out how to do this. Like, we could make it happen hours from now if only PlayStation would say we could.
Yeah. Yeah, there was that weird sticky time where Microsoft and Nintendo were like, hell yeah, you can cross-platform. And Sony was like, no. No.
No. It's also from an era where maybe online games still do this, but the platform exclusive is and from an earlier time.
What was platform exclusive in Rocket League?
They had some cars. There was like a Twisted Metal car that was only on PlayStation. There was a Halo car that was only on Xbox. There was a Mario car.
They do this with Spider-Man sometimes still.
Correct. But he's the only holdout. He's an oldie. But yeah, Rocket League is a really dangerous lesson for any other developer. It's so many things that are like, this will not work for you. The idea that you can take a game that you made that failed and make it but better and it will succeed, dangerous idea.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that your PlayStation Plus launch will work for you for your free-to-play-ish game and you will make money, dangerous idea.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have the same power anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because it's expected that stuff like this is free to play.
Yeah.
If you're charging a premium cost for your games as service, that's kind of a black mark already, you know?
Uh-huh.
And so there's no reason to be like, oh, and it's on PS Plus, because it's like, yeah, I can just download it myself without being on PS Plus, you know?
Also, things like PS Plus are totally saturated now, right? It's no longer, it's the 2 free games. I mean, it is still sort of that, but there's the whole library, and Game Pass is a whole different kettle of worms, and Switch Online is its own weird
what the
thing.
Heck is wrong with Switch Online?
Man, I don't know. Let's not even talk about it. But all of those, it's part of a big library now. It's no longer... I used to pay attention to what the PS Plus games were each month, and I do still pay for it. And now I don't. And I'm sure there's plenty of games I could have downloaded that I would want to have, but I don't pay any attention to it.
I'm going to change that streak this month. Going to get the Sword of the Sea or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, no doubt.
From the Abzu guy, I think.
For sure. I'm on it.
I'm on it. I'm telling you, I'm going to change things up. It won't be... Oh, it will be. It will be in the next episode.
Oh, great. Well, that's exciting for you. Anyway, it's just, it's times they are a-changin', as I say on every episode.
You love talking about time. I'm sure it means nothing.
Yeah. You know what else I love talking about? Esports. Wrong. I don't understand anything about esports.
I watched a few, tutorials or, mechanics you should focus on to do high-level play or whatever. And unfortunately, because I haven't played Rocket League, I never got into it.
Yeah.
Over the course of these 10 years, which is somewhat surprising. I've even played Fortnite,
Right.
But they just rolled off my brain because I don't have any context, right? But it is very interesting to hear people talking about the things you need to practice, to really get good.
And Rocket League does have a practice mode. You can set up, much like a soccer drill situation.
Yeah.
You can set up drills for yourself, which is kind of funny and neat. Rocket League's a big esport, which is interesting. Obviously, there are esports for, Madden-y type things or whatever, too. But read several articles that really called out how this is much more accessible to watch than a, PUBG, Apex, whatever, because it's just soccer with
It's
cars.
fun. The cars are doing flips.
Well, it's fun looking. It's way more clear when someone does something that's impressive.
Yeah.
And that makes it a little bit more accessible. As someone who's into games, I should be more something about esports, but I simply cannot be. I appreciate it.
Something about Rocket League feels more fighting gamey to me in its sort of esports approach.
It is kind of a fighting game, so
It might just be because there's more like flashing colors on screens, like you're saying. It's more accessible, right?
Yeah.
Like I can watch I don't really, but I can watch a professional fighting game match and go, "Oh, cool."
Yeah.
You know, more than I do like Overwatch or something where I'm like, "Okay, they're shooting."
Yeah. Keep crouching. Did you know that the rockets were not even really originally intended?
No, I didn't.
I read a Gamma Sutra article about the making, and maybe this was in reference to Supersonic or whatever, but the studio founder basically was like, oh, well, we wanted to give the cars a turbo mode, right? It's a game with cars. They've got to have turbo. And basically we discovered that you could make that into a jump, right? That just sort of emerged as we were playing. And that was way more fun than anything else we were doing. So we just decided that was what it was.
And that's game development, folks.
That is game development, folks. They also really blew up on Reddit, apparently. They talked about that in a few articles.
Man, imagine blowing up on Reddit.
Well, you can. Like, that is still a thing that happens a little bit. But not like in 2015. You're right.
I don't understand Reddit.
I don't understand any of it.
It's a place I go when I have a very specific problem that needs solving, and someone else has once had this problem.
Correct. I'm like, large bug bite, Reddit.
Well, speaking of bites.
Wait, I have one last question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Rocket League has made all sorts of different modes. Right, they've done basically every sport. They've done rock, paper, scissors. They did Breakout, basically, at some point. What Rocket League mode would you make? You can do that, like all sorts of customization options. So there's things that are, but if you were there being like, yes,
Shogi.
I would like this, what would it be?
Shogi.
How would that work?
You have to like move the pieces with your car.
Emma, that would be
or
bad.
like, no, you're one car and then all the others, you would have to have more people in the game, but everybody is a shogi piece, like human shogi, but with rocket cars. And when you take a piece, you get to ram into it really hard.
I'm gonna be so honest that this, I think, ruins everything that's fun about the game. So it's a nice idea, but I think
I tried to pick the most absurd option.
You've fundamentally misunderstood what people like about this game.
Mahjong then.
I don't really even understand Mahjong.
I don't know Mahjong.
I was like, that seems fine. Yeah, good. Mahjong seems good.
Good.
Okay, speaking of things that bite.
Ducks.
What is it with games? This is my Jerry Seinfeld. What is it about waterfowl? Oh God, I couldn't even say it. I couldn't even get it out. What's the deal with waterfowl?
Oh, you mean like in terms of like Untitled Geese Game?
Yeah, like what is it about geese and ducks and whatever that goes, ooh, let's make a silly game?
See, I think that's just like people really like animal games in the indie sphere. They like anthropomorphizing animals. Does that mean that they're all furries? I don't know.
You know, I wasn't looking for that level of analysis. I was like, why are the silly games about...
we could do a statistical analysis. How many furries are working as indie game artists right now in comparison to their general demographics around the world? Just asking questions.
I would simply rather not.
But no, this did strike me of specifically, there are a lot of indie games with an animal investigator of some type right now. I played the Frog Detective games last year. There's like a cat detective game.
Well, I have to say, I did have this sort of in my notes as Detective Dog, which is not correct.
No, it's Duck Detective.
I know. We've already done Sam and Max.
There's like mystery game. Like Beacon Pines is like a mystery game with animals. There's Backbone, which is like a raccoon detective. It's called something else now.
Well, you know why this is, right?
Why? Tell me.
Well, one, it's because statistically there are more furries working in indie game development than their demographics would suggest. Two, people like animals. That's true. But three, I think it's that people... This is a hot take. Here's a spicy take for you. I think it's because people want to make cop games, but they feel a little weird about that. And if the cop is an animal, it feels less weird.
That is what the Gamer article that I read by
Oh,
Andrew
really?
King
I swear I didn't read that article. I did not pass
suggested
off that take as my own. That was an independent take I just had.
that they like, specifically, like, investigation mechanics are fun, but it's weird to make they don't want to make a cop game. Or, you know, you can make a cop game, but they want to make something cozy still. So,
Right.
like, if he's a chicken, it's fine now,
Yeah.
you know? The other one was, some of it could be, like, downstream impact of, like, Zootopia.
Sure.
Which I'm sure maybe one or two. I don't know if Zootopia really had, like, that much staying power, honestly.
What about Madagascar?
The penguins? There aren't
Yeah.
a lot of secret agent animal games, though.
We are
Very
missing out.
Investigator heavy.
Let's get some more secret agent games. Stealth games
Anyway.
are hard.
Of all the animal detective games we could be talking about, we're talking about Duck Detective, of which there are 2 games out right now. One which came out last year, one that came out this year, and I bet there'll be one next year as well, based on the cliffhanger of the second game.
So, Duck Detective, yes. The first one, The Secret Salami, came out last year. It's an adventure detective, kind of puzzly word puzzle game.
They've compared it as, like, a more accessible version of, like, Oberdin or Case of the Golden Idol.
I'm going to be so honest that this game, I understand why they have compared it to Oberdin, because you have a notebook and people like Oberdin.
Well, you're, like, filling in... this is definitely how it works in Golden Idol, but you can correct me on Oberdin.
Mm-hmm.
But you're, like, collecting information, and then you're, like, sort of filling in, sort of Mad Lib style, what happened.
So that's true, but Oberdin is not really quite like that. Not in the way this one is.
Okay.
Having read this, and obviously tonally very different too, obviously, but I felt like in reading that, if I was looking for a game that was like Return of the Oberdin, this would not, and I am. At all times, I am looking for a game that is like
Sure.
Return of the Oberdin, because it was good, and it was fun, and I enjoyed it. Mostly. Go back and listen to that episode for my thoughts on some of them were kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But that was just bad luck that those were my last ones, probably. I don't feel... That experience felt much more like I need my own notebook than this one.
Sure.
Anyway, in Duck Detective, The Secret Salami, and or The Ghost of Glamping, which came out in May, you play as Eugene McQuacklin. He's a noir-style detective, but he's a duck.
Yeah. So
that means that he, can't stop hitting the bread, and his duck wife just left him.
Yeah.
So, like very, very classic detective tropes, but in a silly duck way. And yes, in this case, he's been called to a case because a salami has been stolen and then returned, I think. And he's got to figure out who did it in this office. And you will spend 2 to 3 hours talking to people in the office, making observations, essentially collecting words that you can then fill into clues Mad Lib style in your deductions menu.
Yes.
Which, why isn't anyone hiring me to make these kinds of things?
You could, Mel. You could do it right now. You have tons of free time.
I need someone to hire me. To be clear, this isn't a Rocket League situation. I don't want to do this while I do contract work elsewhere.
Yeah, generally the pattern is, like, you're looking into one scenario and end up sort of discovering a more wide-reaching plot than you expected.
As a
at least in the
detective is
first
wont
two
to
games.
do.
Yes. You were also joined in the second game by your new roommate and admirer, Freddie Fredersen,
Of course.
who's really, like, impressed with everything you do, but Duck Detective does not find him very charming.
Of course not. Why would he? So Duck Detective is... people liked Duck Detective, mostly. The Destructoid review was not very impressed. I did sort of like... There were a few... It's a really short game, right? Several reviewers described it as, oh, this is a one-sitting game, which was an interesting thing for me to think about, by the way, because I don't play that many of those. I think you play more.
Yeah.
And the idea of a game that is almost meant for you to play in one sitting is interesting to me.
Yeah. I think, like, a 2 to 3 hour game would usually be a 2-sitting game for me.
Sure.
But some people have more sustained time on weekends where you could probably do it in one sitting. But
well, it was interesting because, of course, that's a 3-hour movie. I would go, ugh, really? But still, it's a normal amount of time to sit down to watch a movie or to go see a big play or something like that. It's interesting to think about, when are we surprised to have that, or when are we unsatisfied by that? It's a $10 experience for 3 hours. If you went and paid $10 for a movie these days, you would count your lucky stars.
yeah, I think games should adapt movie matinee pricing.
Yeah.
If you buy it before noon, it's like $12.
You have to promise you will only play it before noon.
If you impulse after noon, it's up to like $25.
That seems correct. Dynamic pricing, we love that. But it's quite simple. It's possible to brute force the puzzles a little bit, although you don't want to. I did like the Rock Paper Shotgun review was like, quote, "A game like Duck Detective risks having only one joke. What if a duck, ... was a detective? But I confess I do not care, because in this instance I like the joke."
Yeah.
And that's kind of the sitch.
I do feel like the joke is enhanced by making him kind of noirish.
Yeah.
Like, there's lots of different types of detectives,
That's
right?
true. Yes, he's not a Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. And also these being fully voice acted.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like helps sell it, because you have a very good voice actor giving their all to the Duck Detective's lines.
Okay, and who voices this, and who else does he voice?
Let me know.
Reen.
No! No!
Yeah, I was like,
wow.
Oh, that name sounds like, why does that name sound familiar? He must be a voice actor I've heard of. I went to the page, Sean something, and it was like, oh, also voices Reen from Trails of Cold Steel.
Can't escape him.
He is the Duck Detective. Think about that the next time you play.
Okay. I will. I'll think about it.
Anyway, there were some knocks from the reviews that it felt like there were too many red herrings. It was both, this game is not that hard, but also it's sometimes misdirecting you in ways that feel, like, annoying, basically.
Yeah.
It's a tricky line to walk.
The second game adds a few, like, navigation features where, like, it will mark searchable objects for you, which the first game doesn't do. You just kind of have to wander around and find it. The map is pulled out a lot farther, and has, like, indications if there's places you haven't gone yet. And additionally, there's now a tab in your menu for hints where you can, like, continue to ask it to give you clear clues until it tells you, right? It'll start by giving you, like, a small clue, and if you're still like, I don't get it, you can keep, like, clicking on it until it basically just, like, tells you the answer that you're looking for. So they've added some ways to make sure you don't get stuck, which I think is good for a pretty short experience like this, because it's not meant for you to get stuck.
No,
right?
It wants to be breezy.
Yeah.
I also like this quote from Destructoid's Zoe Handley, which is that, I love detective games because for a brief fleeting moment, they make me feel intelligent. Doesn't matter how long it takes me or how many things I rub on other things to try and make progress. I eventually solve the case and outsmart a game designed for me to outsmart.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty spot on. She did really not like this game overall, that review. But, I was like, oh yeah, that is kind of what we want here.
Yeah.
Silicon Era also called it out as feeling like, oh, it feels like a single Ace Attorney case, kind of. Like a slice of a game. Which is interesting to me to think about, because on one hand, it's cool that they are probably going to release one of these a year forever now, right?
At least 3. We gotta always make our trilogy,
Sure, of course, just like Ace Attorney.
Yeah.
So, that's cool. It's cool as this is this can drop in and you can enjoy 2 hours of it, and it's like a thing. Like, you get to enjoy it in that episode way. On the other hand, I do feel like something that makes a truly great detective game is there's individual, and this makes this easier to make and probably in some ways makes it whatever, just easier on a lot of levels. But what makes a truly great detective story is being able to have Moriarty threaded through it, right? Sure. Like, if you could tell some successful contained cases that also build up, that's what classics are made of.
Well, I mean, in this one, you got Freddie Fredersen.
Okay, I take it back.
What is Moriarty to Freddie Fredersen, Duck Detective's greatest fan?
You're right.
Introduced in the first game, partner in the second game, third game after the cliffhanger. Who knows?
Arthur Conan Doyle spinning his grave.
True. I read a Plus Play Gaming reflection on the Secret Salami. Which first
it's from
of
a company
all,
called Happy Broccoli, by the way. I don't think I shouted that out.
Oh yeah,
which is a fun studio name. They're
good
German.
Studio name. But anyway, it said, "Why are they eating salami anyway?" Which, to be fair, had not occurred to me.
Oh, that took me a minute. I was like, I don't know. I don't eat meat anymore, but salami was good. Oh.
So they suggested maybe pigs aren't anthropomorphized, maybe it's vegetarian type salami.
Well, sure.
But why are we not asking what's the salami doing here in the first place?
Wow, that's really dark.
Thank you for Press Play Gaming for the perspective.
Yikes.
And also the you can make a few choices in this game at the end of each one where you determine who of the guilty parties that you found is worth sending to jail, and you have to send at least one person. And so this reviewer, and I think that they were playing this a little after release, and I think that the statistics get kind of messed up eventually if you're not playing fresh after release, but they were 2 out of 3 players send everybody they can to jail.
Wow.
Which they found a little absurd.
That's a lot.
I do think it's just funnier to send everybody to jail in a way, and maybe that's kind of dark. That can circle back around to our discussion of why are we making Animal Cop games to begin with.
That's so true.
But it is kind of funnier for the Duck Detective to send the small-time criminals to jail.
A-dab,
So true.
Wow, you really hit him with the big philosophical thoughts here.
I know.
Why is there salami? Should ducks determine who goes to prison?
There's also a dedicated quack button.
As there should be.
Which does imply that in addition to his Noirish voice, they also make quack sounds.
Yeah. That'd be a fun day in the studio.
I think it's just the sound of a duck, the quack button.
That's a missed opportunity.
You're right.
I would have advised them otherwise.
At least 50 recorded quacks.
I would hit the quack button, and if I got a real duck, you know what I'd say?
I think it would be good. What would you say? Sorry. Sorry, what would you say? I realized that was a setup for a joke. What would you say?
I would say, oh, that's disappointing. That wasn't all it was quacked up to be. Wow, I thought you skipped ahead because you knew. Anyway, go on.
I was just thinking, like, you know, if you recorded like 50 quacks and then every once in a while there was just a real duck quack interspersed in
That's
there.
probably good. That's probably better. You're right. Good. So we've iterated here. Well done.
Yeah. That's game design, baby.
Oh, what were you saying before I... Oh, that was what you were saying.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Are we ready to mash?
Yeah. Cars by Pixar, but there's a murder.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a murder in one of the Cars sequels.
It's possible.
Like,
Do they solve it? I haven't seen any of the Cars movies. Do they solve mysteries ever in Cars?
I don't think so.
Let us know.
They race. A duck soccer, like a rocket duck soccer game would probably be pretty good.
Strap some rockets to the ducks. We've done it.
We've done it?
We've made it.
Okay.
We've succeeded.
I do feel like we'd have to pick a different sport.
Rocket, duck, polo.
No, that's not. Like, what even is polo? Are they riding horses? Are the ducks on horses?
I think they should be riding larger ducks.
Cool. I think golf.
Golf. Yeah, people do like a golf game for some reason.
And if you're just like, I realize this is really just taking cues from What the Golf, so whatever. But yeah, if you could just like, instead of having a club, you're firing ducks. And you have various, you can do a rocket launcher duck.
Like Duck Hunt, but in reverse.
Hunt duck.
Yeah.
Yeah. This involves nothing about detectives, but I do think Cars solving a mystery probably pretty good too.
Okay, here's opportunity for me to insert my sports narrative games. There should be more agenda. You're undercover at this sports competition investigating like a cheating scandal.
Okay.
Among the competition. Like Miss Congeniality
you've
style.
You've taken this and you've made a game that is serious.
No, it can still be funny. I didn't say murder.
Yeah.
You're just like cheating at sports.
You've taken this and you've created something that the Nancy Drew series has probably already done.
Yeah. But no, like Miss Congeniality style, but like with rocket powered
Miss Congeniality the game would kind of slap. I'm not kidding.
Am I really? Are we aging ourselves with Miss Congeniality?
We're old. No, everybody shares that. Oh, it's you don't need a sweater or whatever.
Do the kids still watch Miss Congeniality? Let us know.
Yes, you do. No, Miss Congeniality the game would be awesome. You'd have a detective story, and you'd have lots of like mini game stuff. And you'd have a great dress-up segment. There is a perfect video game there.
But anyway, I'm just using that as an example of, like, detective undercover, but, like, in a sport scenario.
Sure.
So you also have to be, like, good enough at the sport to continue on in the competition.
It would probably have to be a silly sport.
Yes. I mean, we were talking about rocket-powered duck golf, Madelyn.
Oh, is that where the cheating scandal is?
Yes.
Good. That seems good. What is the cheating? What could possibly be cheating in rocket-powered duck golf?
They're loading the opponent's ducks up with bread.
Sure. Done.
That's what bread is harmful, is what Duck Detective has taught me.
That's true. I think we got some promising ideas here. I don't think any of these are going to be the next Rocket League.
Well, no. There will never be a next Rocket League, I feel like.
What if you made a free-to-play detective game?
How would that work?
I don't know. I just put it out there for you to kind of try to figure out.
detective style.
Yeah, exactly.
Detective our way to a free-to-play detective game.
Ho.
I do think there's something to, like, Twitch solves a mystery.
Yeah.
Like, Twitch plays Pokemon. Like, crowdsourced detective work game.
That would be a very hard game to design.
Yeah, I'm not saying it wouldn't.
But... I'm thinking about it. I mean, in some sense, what you would be creating there is like an AR game, right? Which people do for marketing, that sort of thing, all the time. Honestly, you know who should do that? Taylor Swift. If Taylor Swift designed like a mystery game that was like about her next album or whatever, people would demolish that.
So true.
Yeah, and like you had to play it as a crowd.
Yeah. And that's the only way you get to buy tickets to her next tour.
That's right.
If you solve the mystery.
Yeah.
Cut down on the bot problem.
That's the life of a showgirl, baby. Twitch. Travis would like it, probably.
All right, we did it.
Yeah, we did it.
We gave Taylor an idea.
She's listening.
Hi, Taylor, faithful listener.
Again, she loves podcasts now, so she's probably listening.
She is.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see when the AR experience from Taylor Swift comes out. It was kind of cool.
She offered to announce it on this show. We were like, this is a games podcast. Like, that's kind of outside what we do. And she said, okay, I guess I'll just ask my boyfriend then. Yeah. And we said, yeah. Anyway, listeners, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
Why do you think we like animal cops? Why do you think we like rocket cars? Isn't it weird to read about things that happened 10 years ago and feel like they happened in an entirely different media and entertainment landscape? Similarly, have you watched Miss Congeniality? If you have thoughts about this or anything else we talked about this week, hit us up on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube at Talk This Podcast. You can also visit our website, www.talkthispodcast.com, where you can read all about the show, check out the games in the hat, and read our blog. But most importantly, if you enjoy the show, you ought to subscribe. We're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, Pandora Podcasts, online and on the app, Overcast, Pocket Casts, wherever you can find podcasts. Subscribe to Talk This. Is it really 6 weeks of gaming next week?
It is.
I have played nothing. I have to do my usual cram a bunch of games in this week so I have anything to talk about.
Exciting.
So look forward to me being like, I played 5 games this week.
5's a lot.
No, it won't be that many. I've played some Clair Obscur. Maybe I'll start Deltarune. Emma's gonna have to carry the team.
I'm ready.
What are we talking about in 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks, for our old game, we'll be talking about Raido Kuzunoha versus the Soulless Army.
Cool.
And for our new game, we'll continue on the soccer trend, but in a different way, with Despelette.
Soccer, indeed.
I'm gonna
Soccer
have to look that
summer.
I
Talk This. Soccer August.
Soccer August. Sock August.
Sock August. Well, that's our show. Thanks for tuning in. Emma, sign us off.
This week, I hope that you take it easy on the bread.